Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. And in this video, I wanted to give you guys some tips on the best and most efficient ways to farm Radiolarian Culture and the Paradox Amplifiers. The latter one, Paradox Amplifier, is a little bit more clean cut, but the Radiolarian Culture, there is a bit more to it. And if you guys have completed your first verse, if you've unlocked the weapon forge and made your first weapon, then you'll know that it is a slightly time-consuming process. You'll know that typically you get, say, 1 Radiolarian Culture every second public event. So if you're looking for 10, which is what you need to form the concentrated Radiolarian Culture, then you're looking at basically 20 public events. And that is just the basic one. That is your first verse, the very easy weapon to forge. Once you go beyond that, you'll notice that the other verses require 2 to 3 of these, meaning you're looking at upwards of, say, 50 to 60 public events to just get the items for 1 more weapon. So that is going to take quite some time. And while you can't necessarily speed up that process, what I can do is offer you guys a method to basically try and get as much as you can in a short space of time. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below if you have any questions, but let's get started. So first things first, if you take a look at the actual item, you will see that it says that the Radiolarian Culture, and by extension the concentrated Radiolarian Culture, comes from public events and also from chests. Now initially I thought this meant that the chest at the end of the public event was the main source, but in actual fact it refers to not just those chests, but also the chests that you'll find around the world, just the general ones you can open that will normally give you planetary tokens, and also high value target chests as well. Now, if you guys saw my video yesterday when I spoke about the weapon forging process, you know that typically if you're doing a public event, every say second public event, you'll normally get one of these items to drop. However, if you are going after chests, just generally speaking around the world, then you'll be looking at getting one every say 4 to 5 chests, which isn't actually too bad when you consider how frequent they spawn and how many of them there are around the world. On top of that, of course, for the high value targets, it's a little bit random. I wasn't so lucky myself, but a couple of my fire team members did get one today, so much like any other ones, if you kind of see them, hit them up, and then you have a chance for it to drop. However, it's worth calling out, it also seems that the drop rate appears to be a little bit higher if you encounter these chests during public events. At least most of my drops were when I opened a chest while I also had a public event running. So with that in mind, one of the best ways to take advantage of this is to go to an area, pick a public event, and then while you're completing it, work your way through so you're kind of made halfway progress, so you know you can still complete it in the timer, and then check the local vicinity for chests and open them at the same time. If you do this and you get lucky, then not only do you have a chance to get the Radiolarian Culture from the chest, but you might also get one upon completing the public event. So further to that, in order to make the most of this, I would strongly recommend you guys go to Titan. Now while yes, Titan doesn't have as many public events when compared to something like the EDZ or Nessus, what Titan does have is a smaller map, a more concentrated area, and a more concentrated selection of chests in that small area. So what's so great about that is that you can then load into Titan, you can search the area for chests, and then while that's happening, the public event will drop in, you can participate in that. You can then search for additional chests while you're doing that, and then once it's finished, you will either transition straight into the next public event, or you can then go over to the other side of the map and search for chests there. The nice thing about doing this in Titan versus, say, Nessus is because Nessus is much bigger and more spread out, while yes, you do have more public events to choose from, you also find that searching for chests, you won't see quite so many. In Titan, it's very easy to, say, stumble across 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 chests in a small area, and then also factor in that you're never too far away from the public event. Whereas if you go off the beaten track in Nessus, you might be running for a fair bit of time until you get back to where you want to be. So, first recommendation, go to Titan, and if you have a ghost shell that helps you with the cache detection radius, that gives you that kind of increased detection radius to make it easier to find them, throw that on. If you're a Night Stalker, you can put on your tracker perk to improve your radar so that the chests show up on there, and then go around searching for chests. Anytime the public event comes around, make sure you get involved in it. And of course, once that's done, you then just continue searching for chests. Now, a couple of additional things worth calling out. The item you will typically get from the chests are of course the Radiolarian Culture. However, there is a very slim chance that you'll get the concentrated Radiolarian Culture. That is the one that typically comes from combining 10 above advance, but these can also drop, but they just have a very low drop rate. I encountered one myself, a couple of my fire team members also encountered them during the day, but I only saw one after an entire day of farming. So they are rare, but they do still have a chance, and of course if you do that, that will drastically cut down your farming time because basically one of these equals 10 Radiolarian Cultures. So that's basically taking 10 to 20 public events off your farming run, which is very, very nice. As for the Paradox Amplifier, this one's a lot more clean cut. You get this one from either doing strikes, Crucible matches, and heroic Mercury adventures. I would typically say Crucible just because it's probably a lot quicker. The heroic adventures can be a little bit lengthy, as can the strikes, whereas Crucible matches are typically done in about 10 minutes. So even if you don't win your Crucible match, you can still get the Paradox Amplifier. In fact, upon both winning and losing, you have a chance to get either 1 or 2 of these Paradox Amplifiers. And again, a very slim chance for the advanced Paradox Amplifier to drop. So it is worth doing this. I would say even if you don't like Crucible, you can jump in, you can participate. If your team wins, if your team loses, there doesn't seem to be any discrepancy in drop rate because we got these to drop both when we lost and when we won. So I would say that is probably the fastest way to farm those ones. Strikes, if you have a good team and you can run through them quickly, then they're also not too bad, but generally speaking, strikes are just a little bit lengthy depending on the ones that you get. So that is what I would say. Recommendations are for the Radiolarian Culture, go to Titan, farm public events while also searching for chests, and then for the Paradox Amplifier, spend your time in the Crucible. I don't know whether it helps, but I have been running with a fireteam medallion the whole time, just in case it improves the drop rate chance, so that's something else to consider. But for the time being, that's pretty much it. That's just a quick video on the way that I've been farming the Radiolarian Culture, and the way that I found it to be most efficient so far. So hopefully that's helpful to you guys. If you have any other suggestions, by all means share them down below. But thank you for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.